Hello friends and welcome to the Rio Moon Oracle. I'm Rayo and today we are continuing our Tarot Discovery series with card number 8, the Strength card, our 9th video in the series. So we're almost halfway through, which is super exciting. So as per usual, we'll be going through the keywords of the cards, look at the original Rider Waite imagery, look at some other meanings, go into a couple cards I have from different tarot decks. I pulled 3 for us today, and then we'll get into reversals. So let us get started. The Strength card comes after our Hierophant, our Lovers card, the Chariot. So in the Chariot card, we have made that choice. We're moving forward in the choice we've made from the Lovers card, right? So we're moving forward actively in that choice. The Chariot is that like outside, like external strength, moving forward in those choices. The Strength card, by comparison, is kind of that like reverse a little bit. It's that more internal strength and aspect. So we are looking for at the Fool through their journey as they're moving through. So now they've worked on that like outside strength, and now they're working on that internal strength. Okay, so the keywords for the Strength card are of course strength, pretty obvious on that one. But we have courage, persuasion, influence, compassion, patience, calm, emotional understanding. That inner strength, of course, energy, conviction, stamina, bravery, and discipline. So with our numerology aspects, so of course it's card number 8. We see that multiple times through the cards, usually because it has the infinity symbol, which we'll touch on a little bit later in the imagery. But that one turned sideways. 8 turns sideways is that infinity symbol, so we have a lot of that numerology symbology there. So the number 8 is a powerful number. It's a driven number, strong. It also stands for like balance and abundance, especially when it's getting turned sideways to represent that infinity and that like coming full circle piece, right? Astrologically, of course, we'll see here in a second, there's a lion in the Strength card, Leo energy. Leo for sure, so that's that zodiac association, and then Leo is a fire element, fire zodiac sign in the fire element, and the fire / Leo is controlled by the sun in this case, so that's that energy and vitality again. So other meanings that can be given to the Strength card, it's raw passion being tamed. So we see that especially with the lion and that control of the lion. So that lion is tamed. It's that animal instinct being used in a positive way, like tamed by that calming energy, a gentle persuasion energy. So we get that quiet determination there, that simplicity, using the right amount of energy, the right amount of force in the given situation. We also get personal growth, channeled energy, and something I liked that I put down is the invisible power. So again, that's that gentle persuasion, that use of force and cunning in the right way to manage the strength we have. So yeah, that Chariot is that outer strength, and then the Strength card is the inner strength. That also self-control, that instinct. It's also that feminine power and ties back into the Magician. We definitely see that with the infinity symbol over the head of the person in the card. So that's that like counter for the abilities and the the energy that the people in the card have. In the Strength card, the feminine figure, and in the Magician card, the masculine figure. So we get that fortitude as well there. In the original Rider Waite imagery, we see a feminine figure holding the jaws and kind of in the teeth of a lion. The feminine figure is wearing a white robe, which kind of symbolizes that purity, that divinity, that connection to spirits, and the like roses and the flowers kind of around her waist, representing that like connection to nature again. The lion is that untamed, raw kind of animal passion and instinct there, and being controlled by the feminine figure through that gentle persuasion, that gentle cunning, without using force, right? It's a very gentle energy by comparison with the lion there. We see them out in nature. So that movement, that use of power in a different way than maybe we're used to seeing. And of course the figure has the infinity symbol overhead, so that's that constant energy moving, that infinite potential, right? So let's see. So yeah, that lion's the raw passion. I think that teeth and like holding that lion, that's that control piece, right? So in other cards, sometimes you'll see chains, sometimes you'll see other soft elements to it. The lion, and I think one of the decks I don't have the Wild Unknowns holding a rose in its mouth, so there's that like gentle energy in the mouth of a ferocious big lion, right? So it's that control and controlling that energy and putting it into a productive means. So now let us look at our 3 cards I pulled for us today from the other tarot decks. So the first card I have is the Lion and our Lion Tamer and the Strength card from the Halloween Tarot. So this one, we kind of get that same, a lot of the same elements there, right? So in the curtain, we see those figure 8s for that infinity symbol. We got our little cat there that's hanging out like always, but the Lion Tamer is in control of the lion, looking in the lion's mouth. And we do get that feminine energy again. It looks like a feminine figure based on the hair. And that Lion Tamer is, as they're called, right? They have tamed that lion, tamed that passion, that ferocious nature, the bigger animal instincts. But I think what's interesting too with the lion tamer taking care is they're taking care of the lion, right? So those deeper internal passions, that raw passion, those are things that always exist, but they also need to be cultivated and taken care of, right? And we really see this in the Halloween tarot with the lion tamer looking in the lion's mouth, checking on their teeth, making sure that the lion is healthy. So I think that's interesting here. Let's see. We get our flower imagery kind of in the stance of the lions, and we see a little bit of flowers there, kind of in the pattern. Let's see, anything else here? Nope, I don't think so. That one's a pretty basic one. A lot of the same imagery, a lot of the same people, but I think it's not people, a lot of the same imagery there. But let us move on to the next one. So our next card is from the Light Seers Tarot. This one's interesting. I think this one is really cool because we see the lion. We get more of that, like that the lion in the original Rider Waite and in the Halloween Tarot that we just saw is an external energy, an external force in the shape of the lion, right? But the Light Seers Tarot really shows it being that internal aspect of us, right? So we see in the half of the face, with her half of the face having her and then the lion imagery there, right? We see that infinity symbol on the arm in her tattoo. But there's definitely that strength there and that use of gentle energy through the lamb. So we get that lion and lamb imagery that's pretty common. So we know that there is a control of those passions, a control over that inner state, those raw animal instincts and primal energy, right? It's still there and it's still present inside of her. We can see that with that lion coming out of her skin and part of her, right? But she's controlling it at the same time because we're not scaring off that lamb that is in front of her. That lamb is not moving away, it's not scared, it's not running away, it's sitting there calmly and peacefully. So we have that control aspect over that strength and using our strength in the proper way, using it productively and channeling it in the way we need to. Let's see, anything else here? Got a heart around her neck, so that connection, I think, more to that like feminine energy again, right? So we have a feminine figure in general here, very feminine card. It feels like that gentle feminine energy, but with that inner strength at the same time, right? But by comparison, now moving on to our third card and last card, we have the Strength card from the Santa Muerte. This one's very different, right? So this is a very masculine energy here. By comparison, we see a luchadore. I think that's the right term for it. But our wrestler with holding a dragon here. So the dragon is representative of that lion energy. It has a little bit of the mane piece to it, but the our wrestler here is actually just wrestling the lion, this lion dragon creature, in the ring. So it doesn't, by comparison, show the gentle persuasion and the gentle cunning and control over the lion and those primal instincts. It's like an act of wrangling in this case, which is very different than the other imagery we've seen. We've got a lot of the same color in this card, so we see a lot of the same yellows and reds that we do in the original Rider Waite, right? That lot of yellow background, so representative of that sun and that vitality. But this strength card, the person in the strength card is definitely actively trying to contain it, trying to subdue it, and that's very different than the other ones that already have control over that primal instinct, that's raw passion, right? So whether it's a difference in the male and female, masculine and feminine energy is an interesting kind of thought to look at, because the feminine energies, right, of the other cards, the original Rider Waite, the Light Seers, the Halloween Tarot, don't have trouble controlling these inner passions, these deeper animal instincts, right? Versus this masculine figure, feels very masculine, is actively having to subdue and work at it to make sure this energy stays contained, right? So that's a very interesting difference to kind of take note of here. The difference in the feminine and masculine energy to cultivate inner strength, and the process in which they go about using it, right? They go about using it and not using it at the same time. So that in the feminine more energy, it's contained and subdued, but it's still there to access, right? And in the masculine energy of this Santa Muerte card, we have it where it's like hard to keep contained. It's not a gentle persuasion. It is not a gentle control and manipulation. It is like an active fight, an active force to keep it contained. So maybe the masculine in this case in the Santa Muerte needs to take a little bit more feminine energy to control this inner instinct, this primal piece of itself. So just something kind of interesting to take note of. It would maybe not look that way as much if there weren't the bands across the back kind of representing that that wrestling ring, that wrestling box. It would more so look like that the strength figure, right, is working with or kind of like interacting with the teeth and the jaws of this dragon lion in a more subdued way if it didn't look like they were in the wrestling ring. So just interesting to take note of, right? So it's the wrestling mask and the wrestling ring that show that fight, that battle in the Santa Muerte card. But that is all I pulled for the cards today. I only pulled 3 because these videos are getting kind of long. I'm enjoying talking about the cards, so the videos have gotten a little bit long, so I figured I'd take one out so I can shorten it down a little bit. But now let us get into reversals. So reversals is our one of 2 ways we can read them: too much of the energy and not enough of the energy. So for strength card, there's a couple that will kind of fall into both depending, but if we do not have enough strength energy, we can have low energy, we can feel defeated, we can have a lack of willpower, we can be pessimistic, we can lack our motivation, lose our ambition. There can be we can feel lethargic, we can feel bored, we can have anxiety and stress in our lives. Insecurity, weakness, vulnerability, all those are a lack of strength energy. And we can also be, if we don't have enough strength energy, we can be denying the own power we have inside of ourselves, right? So we have all this internal power represented by that lion, but we're denying the power that we have. So that's where we maybe are getting into some of that like self-doubt, and we need to like work in getting into our inner strength piece. If we have too much strength energy, however, though, we're going to fall victim to those raw emotions. We're going to be impulsive for how we act and interact with people. We can get anger and jealousy, succumb to those impulses, right? So fits of anger, fits of throwing things around the room, that kind of energy, right? So we're using our power in the wrong way. And we end up with the ability, we might end up brutal and not like brutality, we might be aggressive, we might be too forceful, and that like anger leading into regret. So we end up with a lot of regret in our lives because we are reacting to situations. We're not being proactive, we're being reactive and explosive. So that's too much, all that strength energy. So that is all I have for us today. So the strength card, we're just keep moving along through that journey, right? So that's that cultivation of inner strength. And next we move on as we're getting in this internal, right? We've worked in the external for the Chariot. We're looking internal now. With that inner strength, and we're going to keep going into that internal process next. So that's exciting as we get into the next card here. But that is all I have for us today. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe down below and help me out a lot. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.